the next question is about Old City Hall. This is the red and yellow buildings on Main Street that are fondly known as Mustard and Ketchup. They are old buildings that are owned still by the city. And the question is, what is your position on using Old City Hall in Placerville as a fire museum and visitor center, as was requested by the public through a survey in 2014? And again, part of that building, the Confidence Firehouse part of the building was historically, you know, a firehouse. And so that's where part of that idea of a fire museum came about. But this is a concept, and we'd just like to know your thoughts on that. And again, if you feel that you aren't familiar with that, just answer it as best you can. And this one, we will start with Mandy.
I would love to see it restored and turned into a firehouse museum. I think it would be awesome. We have a lot of antiques, of old equipment, really neat stuff. And who doesn't love fire trucks and firefighters and that whole history? Kids love that stuff. And I think adults do too. There's something about firefighters and firefighting that just is capturing. And look at Gail. She's smiling right now. She loves it too. No, I think it would be really cool to do that. And something that we also had talked about was doing a gem and mineral, working with the Gem and Mineral Society and bringing that aspect to downtown and having like a gem museum, which would be really cool. And as you see, here's all my lapidary equipment behind me. Those are all my polishing. I have all my rocks in those boxes back there. And so it is, I mean, if you go in Tucson, they have a gem and mineral show every year. And we have one here that's at the fairgrounds, but it's actually a huge attraction. So if you were to combine that with the gold panning championships and all that, it's just another aspect of Placerville. And it's something that makes us unique to any other place. And so we need to make a museum, keep preserving that stuff. It's fun and everybody loves it, all ages. So absolutely.
And just to clarify, Mandy, you might want to I just want to clarify for everybody, and if you want to just add a little bit more. So the other half of the building, the yellow part of the building, is called the Emigrant Jane Building. And so that portion of the building was proposed as a visitor center. The concept of the two, you know, fire museum and visitor center, were things that the public, you know, was very supportive of. Yeah. So that it's also the visitor center concept.
Yeah, and the thing that's kind of a bummer is, you know, we have our Chamber of Commerce, but they're not open on the weekends. You know, we need a spot that is open on the weekends when the tourists are around, so they can get that information and learn about the Gold Bug Museum or Coloma or other places to go visit. I mean, it's a no-brainer, and it's kind of shocking again that we don't have that downtown. We need that visitor center to connect people and show them where to go, and it helps businesses to do that. So
great, thank you. So Tracy, what are your thoughts on using Old City Hall in Placerville as a fire museum and visitor center?
The funny part to me, Miss Jennifer, is that it hasn't happened yet. There's so many opportunities for the city. It just seems like, I don't know, like some people don't want that to happen and let downtown like kind of drift away slowly but surely, rip it from under the feet of the people. You know, it's like Placerville is like super special because they say even when they was making the streets back in the day, they had gold dust all in the air. And I don't think people know that. And so I got a unique perspective coming from the outside and really falling in love with the first city. I'm like the orphan, the stepchild that came in and the city loved me to death and I've never been loved before. So of course, you know what I mean? Like as a kid, like going to school, you know, the teacher said, hey, we're going to the museum today. And if we're getting ready to go downtown Placerville and we're going to the fire department, oh my God, we got a visitor center. you know how proud that makes a young kid to grow up in the city when he knows its history. And then at the same time, you know, we can make it very easy because we can get volunteers to come in to run the visitor center and things like that, to reenact. You know, I just hope everything works out perfectly because, you know, the wagon trail is very important to the city. That's when you see people come out. And I just always hope that wagon trail will have something to come to one day. We got to be very careful on the people that say they love our city and they talk like a politician and we fall in love with their smiles and things like that. Let's look at a person's action. You know what I mean? So I'm new to this. And so I got visions of making sure that I do right by all the things I've heard. And so I think that would be something that'll be awesome because I find myself down there probably a lot enjoying the, you know, I want to see this city become something of a model for the rest of the nation. The rest of the nation is hurting. And we got good heart, good people, good leaders. And we're in the city of gold. I'm like, do we understand how special that is? That's almost crazy to me that I'm in the area where they first found gold. And yeah, we got a horrific, you know, past in every state, but it's what we do in the future that makes us great. That rhymed also. I just wanted to throw that out there. All right, we're good to go.
Thank you so much. All right, George Turnbull, what are your thoughts on using Old City Hall in Placerville as a fire museum and visitor center?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea because I think we're one of the oldest fire departments in the state of California. And if I remember right, there's some old helmets, leather helmets, and I think they're still in the attic in the Placerville fire station. I'm not quite sure, but I remember somebody was telling me about them. And I think that's a great thing, and especially a visitor center because it gives you an idea of what the history is about Placerville, about the different buildings and stuff that we have here. So I think it'd be a great thing. I really do. And like I say, you know, you got to understand, we had the oldest sheriff's department in California was right here in our town, was assembled here. And so there's a lot of history here in this Placerville, especially when you go back with my old family. You know, I mean, gosh, you got to talking about 8 generations. We were only one of 30 families that were in El Dorado County at that time in the early 1800s. So we got a lot of deep roots here, and I want to make sure that we preserve our history. And I think it'd be a great thing for Placerville to have that museum and have that visitor center.
Great, thank you so much. John Heidel, your thoughts on using Old City Hall as a fire museum and visitor center?
I'm open to the idea, but I don't have any strong opinions on it. I mean, that's really a city of Placerville activity, so.
Okay. Sounds, got it, understand. Okay, let's see. I think we started that one with Mandy, so this next one we will start again with Tracy. We have 2 questions that center around the local Wapumnis tribe. And this was a city initiative, but again, has a potential to be a county initiative as well. And it has to do with tribal consultation. Basically, what is your position on the city and county allowing the local Wapumnis tribe the ability to protect their archaeological sites by granting them tribal consultation status to consult with the city and county on CEQA projects? And basically, it's to consult with the city on projects, but CEQA, of course, are projects where this kind of consultation would be required of tribes, of certain tribes that are, you know, listed and recognized. And so this initiative has to do with recognizing the local Wapumnis tribe, regardless of, you know, these other lists. And they are in a process of having their recognition, you know, established again with the federal government. But the point is, it's a local tribe, and they would like to be having equal status with other tribes for consultation purposes. So the question again, you know, what is your position on the city and county allowing this local tribe to have consultation status, tribal consultation status? Tracy, can you give us your thoughts?
I can. You know, preserving history is also like preserving everybody's history, making everybody feeling welcome and proud of their own history. I just want to make sure, like, when it comes down to things, it just seems like these things should have been kind of handled and respected way before I came to run for city council and things like that. And so it could be handled in ways of like having a conversation, if it's a town hall meeting, or if it's like a sit down one-on-one with some people that work on the council and, you know, the tribe and things like that. People need to be respected. So, you know, my heart breaks to see maybe over the last couple of months or years or whatever, they went through not to get recognized. Kind of almost like, you know, we don't want you, we don't need you. And so I think it'd be awesome to sit back and make sure that we recognize or have a conversation at least, in all due respect. Like I say, it's all about preserving all of our history. It's not just preserving like one part. And so, yeah, I support that. You know, I'm always open to listening and understanding what's going on, because I need all my community members to feel good about what's going on in El Dorado County and the city and things like that, because it makes us good when we do that for each other. So, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Mhm.
George Turnbull, can you give us your thoughts on tribal consultation status for the Wapumis tribe?
Well, I think we got to work on to get their status, because I've got Miwok in me too, and they're part of my family through generations and stuff. But you're not talking about just history. You're talking about ancient history. You know, you got to understand that they've been around a lot longer than we ever have. So I think that we need to look into it and make sure that they get recognized. I think there's some stuff that's going on right now, and I think it's a good thing for them. And I hope it all works out, because I think they need to have their status. They really do.
Thank you, George. John Heidel. And again, this is basically an initiative that is currently circulating, just for everybody to understand. It's an initiative that's circulating for signatures to get it on the ballot for the city, potentially a future effort as well for the county, which is just simply saying, you know, we the people can recognize this tribe and give them the ability to be consulted like other tribes that are being consulted. And so it's simply saying that we have the ability to do that as the city or as the county, regardless of, you know, other jurisdictions that might grant status. So with that, John Heidel, can you share your thoughts?
Yeah, the only thing that I can share is we've had several discussions with county council since I've been on the board about the status of the tribe. And my understanding from county council is that they have advised us that a federal designation or recognition needs to be accomplished before the county should enter into those kind of discussions. So I've not seen a local initiative on this. I honestly believe that's probably the worst way to approach things, is through local initiatives. If you can get them resolved at the government agency, i.e. the federal government, that would seem to be the preferred way. So I'm not against them getting recognition, but I'm not going to step out against county council's recommendation and find out that we got into something that we didn't expect. So that would be the premise that, I've been advised, and I'm adhering to it at this point, subject to change if a new information is presented.
Thank you. Mandy Rodriguez, your thoughts on tribal consultation for the local Wapumis tribe?
It's just one of those things where it's just like, I grew up in Arizona, and we have Apache, we have Hopi, we have Navajo, and they deserve to have that same recognition. And I don't understand why the city is always fighting with them about this. It just seems like a no-brainer. Why wouldn't we recognize them as a tribe? And I've heard some kind of not very nice things regarding letting them be that. And it just baffles my mind. Like, they are part of our history and they should be recognized as such. And when we talk about preserving history, it's all our history. It's the indigenous, it's the the gold miners, and all the people from all different countries that have come here, and it goes back very, very far, like George said. So it's just a no-brainer to me, and I will support that tribe, and support and them getting recognized if I'm on city council, whether or not I am whether I am or not. So
Thank you, Mandy. The next question kind of demonstrates what happens when that tribal consultation status isn't there. There is many people know about now this Native American site that was discovered accidentally during the Upper Broadway bike lanes project. So, we do have a major archaeological site on Upper Broadway, and the question is, there was a decision by the city to go forward with the project and use various contractors to address the discovery of this archaeological site. And so there is an initiative to repeal that decision and stop the current ground disturbing work on that project and allow UC Davis to lead the archaeological excavation of the site, which was requested by the Wapumis tribe. And again, a tribe that would have status would be consulted for their wishes, when they are recognized as having, those objects, those resources as part of their heritage. And so currently the Wapumis, wishes are not being followed in this matter. They don't really have a voice other than just a general public voice in the outcome of these archaeological resources. So simply the question is, would you support, repealing the decision, to pursue the project and pursue the archaeological work in a manner that isn't, consistent with the local tribe's wishes? So on that one, I think we are starting with George Turnbull again on this question.
Okay, so repeat that question once again, because
Sure. It's really, what it really is there was a Native American archaeological site discovered on Upper Broadway.
right.
And the city made a decision of how to deal with that, which was, to amend their contracts and to bring in a certain archaeological, survey team or consultant. And they did not listen to, and they basically told the local Wapumis that they didn't have a say in what was going to happen with that. So the Wapumis do claim this as their site, as a village site, and have in their, tribe known about this site for a very, very long time, for generations. And so that's kind of the point, is just that they are not being allowed to have a voice because they are not,
Because they don't have no
one of
status.
these listed. Right, they don't have status, basically. Yes, that's a simple way to say it. They don't have status. And so this is simply an initiative that says we would basically, reverse that decision and, follow the tribe's wishes, which are to engage UC Davis as the lead for this archaeological excavation and, proper handling and, recording and protection of the artifacts.
Well, I think they need to protect the artifacts, and I think that they need to follow what the tribe wants, because especially there's a lot of different historical sites all over the county. There was one particular site that was over there in Diamond Springs that they almost destroyed, and it's a good thing they saved part of it, but part of it where the gas station is built, right on the intersection there, where 49 comes into Pleasant Valley Road. So these historic sites, it's like down at the old golf course. There's places there too that needs to be preserved. You got to understand that this is very sacred to them. So we need to make sure that we follow what they want. Because if they would have been recognized, that project would have been stopped right now, period. So I think that this city needs to make sure that they do what this tribe wants. Follow the guidelines. Let UC Davis come in and work on that with them and help them to preserve that site, but also work around it.
Thank you, George. John Heidel, do you have any thoughts on, again, this would be an opinion about reversing a decision and acknowledging the local tribe that claims the heritage of this site?
I have no opinion. Other than what I read in the newspaper, and I've learned you don't believe anything you read in the newspaper, so I just don't have the firsthand knowledge or references from people who've lived there. Again, I live in El Dorado Hills, not Placerville, so I'm no opinion.
Okay, that's fair. Mandy Rodriguez?
Once again, I'd like to see the tribe recognized and give them the opportunity to go into that site and with the assistance of UC Davis. I don't see, I mean, I understand that they're not recognized as a tribe, but in my thinking, they shouldn't have to have a piece of paper to be recognized and for that site to be preserved. Like, why do they have to have a piece of paper to preserve something that's history? You know, it's like when you find dinosaur fossils, you stop the project. The dinosaurs don't have to have a certification to show that they were dinosaurs. You know, I mean, literally, I have a friend who found woolly mammoth bones in the pine nuts down in Gardnerville. He shut the pine nuts down. That's always the joke. But seriously, it's like, I don't understand why it's so hard. And it kind of circles back to the roundabout and all these things that developers want to have. And, you know, if we want to look like any town USA, well then, you know, let them do these things. Let them put the roundabouts out. Let them take down the historical district. Let them do that. Then now we live in the suburbs in any town USA. And I that's not why people love Placerville. It's not. So I would love to see that reversed. And I'd love to see city council respect that tribe. So,
Thank you, Mandy. Tracy, your thoughts on this archaeological site on Upper Broadway and reversing how they've proceeded?
Oh, you know, the first thing I'm gonna say, Ms. Jennifer, is been a long night. Good night. I definitely, you know, I'm going back to unity. I'm just trying to bring everybody together. And what makes sense to me is to let UC Davis come in and see what's going on. That's transparency. And the cool thing is we can set a deadline, because UC Davis could come in and say, over the next 10 years, I feel like if we do this, like set strict guidelines, like, okay, you have a year to see what's up and see what's going on with things. You put them in a position to, all of a sudden you have UC Davis telling you what's going on. And if it is what it is, then we have another tourist site, and we have more people in our community happy. And so I don't see anything wrong with letting UC Davis come up and see what's going on and giving, you know, the tribe status. It just brings more heritage and brings more protection to our little city. And so, you know, again, you know, I know everybody has some people have an agenda to do different things, and there's nothing wrong with that. People have different visions. I'm not angry at them, but, you know, to step on other people and act like they don't count, that's why we're in the position we are in today. You know, everybody wakes up in the morning, works hard. You know, people got legacies, things like that. Don't mean that you're better or just because your house is bigger and things like that. So I'm just disappointed that some people just don't sit down for a minute and really take it in. And so, yeah, UC Davis needs to come up, make sure everything is what it is, and, you know, grant the tribe status. And so, you know, people can start healing. It's time to heal. This is ridiculous. But again, like I said, I know everybody has an agenda, and it is, I definitely don't want to make anybody seem like a bad person, because everybody's trying to do what's right in their eyes. So that's my opinion.
Thank you, Tracy.